a beautiful day to love myself. I love myself. Love, 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 love. Today's a beautiful day to honor myself. I honor myself. Love, 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 love. Blessed love, y'all. Welcome to Almost Alkaline Podcast. I am your host, Akeem, Pierre. I just feel so good. Like, ooh, just say it with me one time. I love myself. Love, 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 love. I love myself. The power of our words, y'all. Give thanks. Give thanks for joining me. Give thanks for tuning in. This is unofficially the first episode of Almost Alkaline Podcast. And I give thanks for you for joining me, for joining us, this beautiful community, this family that we are creating. This is a long time coming. And I'm excited because this is an opportunity for me to share about the journey, because Almost Alkaline is really all about the journey. It's all about the journey that we're all on. And it's about honoring that journey and honoring ourselves and our place on that journey. Because when you look at Almost Alkaline, like, why Almost Alkaline? Why almost? And that's because a lot of the times we get caught up in trying to be all of one thing, like all of something. Like if we're talking about the alkaline diet, it's like, we're only going to eat off this list, this alkaline diet list. And I had people messaging me. I had people commenting on my videos, people who talk to me who like, they're going to get sick trying to eat alkaline because they have no alkaline foods around them. And there's some people who like alkaline, like disease doesn't thrive in an alkaline environment. And they're trying to be so alkaline, but they don't realize that your skin is slightly acidic. They don't realize that your digestive system is slightly acidic. So what happens if you go alkaline? You turn into bleach. You know what I mean? Like you don't just drink bleach, right? So this podcast is about honoring that journey and honoring the balance that comes with this journey and honoring the cycles and honoring the fact that we are such dynamic and divine beings that we cannot be defined by one thing. We cannot be defined by one word. So I'm almost this, I'm almost that. So if you want to replace almost alkaline with almost whatever, you know what I mean? Because I'm almost there. I'm not trying to be there, because once we're there, what happens? We're done. Once you arrive, you're done. This life is the journey, you know? So I give thanks for this journey. And with this journey that we have, what is this journey about? Like, what is this journey about really? And I really feel myself that this journey is about finding that gift that we all have within us. Like we each have this unique gift within us that no one else has in the world. And our life journey is to remember that and to uncover that and to share that with the world. So we came here for a divine purpose, for a divine reason, and everything on this journey, everything that happened to us on this journey, on our path, is a part of it. It is a part of the uncovering, a part of the discovery, a part of the learning. And it's about gathering all of those lessons, all of those experiences, and knowing that is us. So those things that made us feel bad, those things that made us feel shame, those things that made us feel angry, the things that made us feel disappointed, the things that made us feel disgusted, all of those things are what make us who we are today. And it's that honoring of the journey is how we become those divine, those dynamic beings with this story to tell. And we are able to add value to the world. And it's so important in this day and age because with the media, social media, just all the programming that's going on right now is for us to all be the same. It's to us to all be the herd mentality. Let's all be the same. Even when it comes to, if we're going to talk about the vid vax, we're going to talk about that. It's all, they're talking about herd. Like, let's all do this together and let's all be the same, just so we can all be the same. But that is removing our uniqueness from us. So when we're going to school and we're all trying to be the same, like answer this test in the exact same way and fit into this mold, it's taking away from that one thing that we have that no one else have, which is our gift. When we've been raised, our program, at least my programming, is to not be too different. You don't want to be the weird one. Like I grew up being the weird one. You know, I grew up being that child that loved to ask questions, that loved to break apart electronics and see how things work, because I wanted to learn. I was curious. But as I was growing up, my family would always tell me like, nah, put that down. That's weird. Like, don't do that. That's weird. That's weird. And they would laugh at me at dinners and family parties. Oh, Akeem, did you see what Akeem did last night? He opened up this electronic and broke it apart. And, I was just curious. And if you think about how that was, if my family were to nurture me and allow me to feel confident in that, now we're in the age of technology, of computers, where I may have been a computer programming and made something epic, but that's the journey, right? So that's the journey. That's my journey, is learning and honoring that and reflecting. And now we're here, so now I can share with y'all. And there's a beautiful analogy of the gift and that I've heard from Honorable Priest Isaac. And he talks about a gift that we were all given. And just imagine that you gave a gift to someone. Christmas, their birthday, you gave a gift to someone, and you go back there a couple months later and you see they haven't opened the gift. The gift is still sitting there. And then you're like, yo, what's going on? Like, I gave you this gift. What's going on? How come you haven't opened it? And then what they'll do is they'll maybe take the wrapping off, take the bow off, take off the wrapping paper, and they see the box and like, oh, that's nice. And then they just put it on the shelf. And most of us, our gifts are just sitting there on the shelf. Not open, not used, and not able to be shared with anybody. And the thing about these gifts is all of the hardships, all of the challenges, all of the confusion, the fear, the doubt that we have in this life, it comes from not knowing our gifts and not living and pursuing and giving our gifts. So I believe once we really tune in to this gift that we have and we honor the journey of uncovering this gift, because a lot of us don't want to uncover the gift because it's a lot of work, or it's some work. It's some work, and I'll do that after and we'll wait there. But little do we know, if that we work and do the work to uncover that gift, that's going to help all our problems. That's going to heal. That's going to heal us really and truly, because living in our purpose is healing. And this is something that I've experienced in these last 5-6 years of my life. Really, it's actually been 10 years. 2011, 2012 was a time when I went into self-isolation. So before COVID, before self-isolation was a thing, I went into self-isolation. And this is how I believe that we can uncover our gifts and uncover what it is that we're really truly here and meant to do here. And that's by taking some time away from all these different connections, all these different things that you're engaged in your life. So for me at that time, I was a basketball player, I was an athlete. And what I did is I just went to my classes, I went to my basketball practice. And then other than those two things, I would be at home and I would just be studying and learning and reading and just doing the things that my intuition told me to do. So I was interested. I shared about a book, my book list, right? A couple months ago. And that book list had The Alchemist on it. Well, that book came to me out of intuition. And in my self-isolation, that's when I read the book. And then from there, I read a next book and I started meditating. And then from there, I discovered a lot about myself from myself, just taking away all those distractions, all those connections from me. I'm talking about even family. I'm talking about friends. I really just stuck to myself and learned and meditated and read and just journaled. Like, that was a beautiful time for me in that practice. And the thing about it is, once you take the time and you self-isolate and you break off all those connections that you had, right? Even the good ones, just take a moment. This is like fasting from all those things in your life. And then what you can do is, once you're gotten to a certain point where you feel you have a certain understanding, understanding of yourself, then you can start to make those connections again. So once I got to a point where I'm like, I felt good. I felt a little bit clear, and I felt like I'm ready to start to make those connections with the world again, to only make the connections that serve me and to serve my life purpose and my gift of what I'm here to do. So then what I did is, at that time I was an athlete, as I said. So I was like, I'm an athlete and I used to do this kind of working out, but that kind of working out didn't serve me. So what can I do now that's going to serve me? And that's me making another connection with the physical, my physical body and my movement. And that's me learning and making a new connection, and one that I chose, because what we realized, a lot of these things we didn't choose. A lot of these things were given to us, were handed to us, and we just took it on, and we never took the time to see if we really like this, if we really love this, if we want it. So with that, I was like, with my movement, I'm like, nah, this heavy weightlifting movement is not serving me. It's harming me. My back is sore, my knees are sore. So then I started to learn other aspects on the movement. I started to get into calisthenics. I started to study people like Ido Portal, started to do gymnastics. And then from there, I'm feeling physically better than I ever did in my life. Then I started to see, when it comes to the food I'm eating, what kind of food is in line with my purpose, my vision, my gift? And I get to choose. And I did that with all areas of my life, with the people I talk to, how I talk to myself, the books I read, the places I go, all of that. And that totally restructured and reformatted my whole life. So y'all watching this right now, y'all may think I was always like that. I was always like this, but it's not further. It couldn't be further from the truth. I used to be they used to call me the garburator, because I would just eat anything out there. You know, I can always say I was a nice guy. I was like a kind spirit, you know, like good vibes, good energy. But I used to hold a lot of anger. I used to be angry. Like if you were around me and some of those days, we would play fight. We would play fight, but I whoop your ass. You know what I mean? And I let that anger out, and I didn't know how to channel it. And this is a whole new version of myself, that I went through this period of self-isolation to disconnect from all those connections that were given to me growing up. And so I could reconnect and find those ones that really align with me. And I really ask all of us to go through this process. And I know some of us, I was in a position where I was living with my roommates, and they were my teammates. And I was easy to just say, like, you know, I went to my room, I meditated, and they just didn't bother me. Some of us live with family. Some of us live with people who we're engaged with more on the daily. And if that's the case, just do your best. Do your best of what you can do. But just take the time and look at all these different aspects of your life, your movement, your nutrition of your movement. How are you feeding yourself through movement? Right? How are you feeding yourself with food? How are you feeding yourself with thoughts? How are you feeding yourself with conversation? How is your environment feeding yourself? All these different aspects of yourself, your job, your work. How is that? What is that doing for you? Right? And then from there, the amount of clarity that comes from that is going to be so legendary, but it's going to take a time and a moment for us to just really step back and for us to really step away from it. Like Nipsey Hussle, he really had a powerful thing that, you know, rest in peace, Nipsey, where he would talk about when he was transitioning from being on the street and hustling on the street to being a musician and a rapper. And he was talking about that transition period. And it's that transition period in between where you were and where you're going, which is the part that we don't really like to go. So that means a lot of us give up when we're in that transition period. It's that awkward period. I used to have hair. And when I had hair, if I wanted to grow it out, to grow braids, there was that kind of awkward period where I couldn't do much with it. A lot of people can't go through that. Right? A lot of people can't go through the phase from being on the street and talking a certain way and having a certain amount of money to transitioning to a more holistic life and talking about different things and working up to get your money again. A lot of people can't go through that transition. But this transition is where the real gold is. That's the journey, right? That's the journey that we go on, and we're going to go on these journeys continually. But I'm going to ask all of y'all to let's go on this journey. Let's go on this journey together. A lot of us have already been on the journey. A lot of us have, we're already, far on it, but what I realize is it never stops, right? It never stops. And the beautiful thing is, like, as we're always ascending and always expanding and always remembering our greatness, we're just going to repeat that process, repeat. And it's not going to be as intense. Like when I did it back in 2012, 2011, it was an intense period where I really didn't speak to anyone for such a long period of time, for months, almost a year. But now when I do these things, I just cut off certain connections. So I'm gonna just not talk to certain friends, or I'm gonna just not go to certain environments for a certain period of time, or I'm gonna just stay home and be in my own home and not eat out. I'm gonna fast. I'm gonna do this cleanse. These different aspects. So it's a journey that continues, and the marathon continues. So I give thanks for that journey. And, this podcast is going to be highlighting that journey, is going to be highlighting all those different aspects of my journey and what I went through. And also we're going to have other people come on here. We're going to have interviews, and we're going to share the journeys of other people, because learning from other people and other journeys is one of the most powerful things that we can do also, because sometimes we don't even believe it's possible. Sometimes we don't believe that where we are right now, that we can get to that next place, that next phase of abundance, and get out of this survival. But if there's one thing I know, and this is just for my own self and just my own growth, some of y'all are going to know this. Some of y'all know the growth that I had, but just the growth that I've witnessed from myself, I know anything is possible. Anything is possible. And I'm excited to share a little bit more about the journey with y'all, share a little bit more about how I got to where I'm at now, and share the tips, the tools, the insights, the rituals that I've gone through to get y'all, and hopefully just give y'all a little bit of tools. And it's the almost alkaline. So whatever I say, whatever I'm speaking and sharing on this podcast or with anything that I do, I don't want you to just take it and just, I'm going to do the exact same thing. And if it doesn't work, it's Akeem's fault. Most likely, you're going to have to tweak it and adjust it a little bit. Most likely, you're going to have to shift it a little bit to work best for you. So I want you to take that time to see, how can I use this? How can I integrate this? And ask those questions for yourself. And when we do this, we're just going to be so potent and so powerful. And it's so essential, because we do have this gift. And we do have that power to really change the world and to really make a powerful impact in this world. But if we don't believe that we have that gift, if we don't believe we're worth it, we won't try. So we have that within us. We have that uniqueness, that one thing that you have that no one else has. Like, think of it, one of one is what you have. Let's go. Let's get on this journey. Let's uncover this, and let's come on this together, y'all. I'm so excited. And much love, y'all. This is really something I'm excited for, just when it comes to the podcast. So I'm gonna be talking a little bit more than I need to at sometimes, but I'm also gonna cut it off and catch y'all on the next one. All right, bless.